The Rise of Skywalker is often described as a Star Wars film based within the sequel trilogy that will have many saga-wide implications as well as revelations that will change our entire view of the past 8 Star Wars movies that come before this one. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one great thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that J.J. Abrams is taking this movie in a totally different direction, a direction that we have never seen before on the big screen, which is going to be quite interesting to see exactly what the movie is going to look like, how it's going to be executed, how the visual effects will be done. I digress. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the set leaks, this is where things begin to get very exciting for the characters of course, Rey, Kylo Ren, and even the new villain in this movie. Now, specifically, it's described that one of the scenes that were shot during the month of December 2018 included Matt Smith, Daisy Ridley, and Adam Driver acting in a scene where it's described that Daisy and Adam were both wielding opposite lightsabers, where Kylo had Rey's and Rey had Kylo's, while they were standing in a way of defending themselves from the new threat that is called the Dark Acolyte. It said that Smith was attached to various pieces of wirework that would be used for a stunt that would be a major callback to Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, where it's said to be a scene in which the Dark Acolyte performs the famous Palpatine spin in mid-air, where Ian McDiarmid was on set and was set to provide new dialogue of him screaming on set that would later be modified during post-production by the sound effects team. This implies that the new villain is either a young Palpatine and or a villain possessed by Palpatine. It said that as the stunt was performed, the villain's lightsaber clashed against Rey and Kylo's, where Smith was said to be smiling and laughing in front of Rey and Kylo. Another sequence that was filmed involved Matt Smith with a hood over his head, spreading his fingers out toward Daisy Ridley, where it's described to be a sequence in one of the villains using Force lightning against Rey that will be added in during post-production. It's described that Daisy was in a stance of using the saber as a way of blocking the Force lightning in front of a green screen, and is said to be a parallel of Palpatine using lightning against Mace Windu. So what's really intriguing to me about all of this is that this heavily implies that something is going on with Matt Smith and his character, him being, of course, the Dark Acolyte, the new villain in this film, and a massive connection to that of Emperor Palpatine. Now, him performing the same exact stunt that was actually done in Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. I'm not quite sure, by the way, if in Episode 3 that was CGI or an actual actor spinning in mid-air, but nonetheless, they recreated that scene of this new villain performing the famous Palpatine spin in mid-air while using his single-bladed lightsaber, where Ian McDiarmid was said to be on set actually screaming as Palpatine and performing that sound effect that will be later modified during post-production. So again, like I say, this matches directly with also what we went over just a couple of days ago, where Ian McDiarmid was actually said to be on set behind Matt Smith, where he was actually delivering dialogue as Palpatine, where Matt Smith was actually said to be lip-syncing to Ian McDiarmid's dialogue. So this really does tell us that this either means that Matt is a young version of Palpatine, possessed by Palpatine, or maybe something else entirely different that we have never seen before and is going to be unexpected. So the other aspect of this scene that I do want to go over that is very intriguing is, of course, how the character that is being portrayed by Matt Smith was able to use a technique called Force Lightning, obviously, where it is said to last for a good amount of time on set for the sequence going against both, of course, himself and Daisy Ridley. So Daisy Ridley actually had to act in a sequence in which she was actually performed, or she was actually instructed to perform, a sequence in which she had to block the Force lightning, giving us a direct parallel to what we got between, of course, both Mace Windu and Emperor Palpatine. Again, you can see all the hints here, all the little callbacks to the prequels that really do suggest and imply that this new villain most likely is going to be a young Palpatine, or maybe even a Palpatine spirit that has possessed Matt Smith's character. So at the end of the day, now we do know that, at the very end of the day, J.J. Abrams even said that this character is the greatest evil, and that both Rey and Kylo Ren, at a certain point in time in this movie, we have learned this before in the past, that they are going to team up to take down this new threat. Now, whether or not they are successful, that's another big question, right? Is Kylo Ren going to live throughout this movie, or is Rey going to die, or vice versa, whatever have you? Now, this also lines directly up with the other one that we went over, where Adam Driver was actually described to be laying down on set, knocked unconscious, where Daisy Ridley was hovering over him, crying about, what happened to Kylo Ren / Ben Solo. Does that indicate that Kylo Ren dies by the hands of this new villain, or maybe even inadvertently by the hands of Rey, for all we know? So this movie has a lot going for it, and I think that what's so exciting about it all is how we are indeed getting a brand new villain that is in fact going to be using a single-bladed lightsaber against these two characters. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.